In this video, we're going to take a look at 5 van side hustles where you can make stupid amounts of money, where the ceiling to your income is never capped and your ability to grow and prosper is directly correlated to how hard you want to work. Your ability to make a lot of money with a van side hustle is directly correlated to how many skills you can stack on top of the ability to drive the van. Skills stack on top of skills, and each new skill adds a multiplier to how much money you can potentially make, as you can see in this diagram. One skill in and of itself is not really going to make you that much money, like just being able to drive the van, but pair a couple skills together, and each new skill that you add compounds your ability to make a lot more money. If you're not making that much money with a van, you might just be 1 or 2 skill sets away from really seriously compounding your ability to make a lot of money. So for example, driving a van just by itself is not going to make you that much money, right? But pair that with a really good product or service, and then add in clean marketing materials, and then also add in door-to-door sales. And before you know it, when you stack all of these skill sets and these additional things on top of your ability to drive a van, the income multiplier and your ability to make a lot more money drastically increases. Yes, you need a van. Yes, you need a great product or service. Yes, you need some clean marketing materials. But in my opinion, the skill set that will put a massive multiplier on your ability to make really good money with a van side hustle is door-to-door sales. Even if you don't like door-to-door sales, stick with me here, guys, because I want to show you 5 van side hustles where you can make an ungodly amount of money if you're willing to do door-to-door sales or hire somebody to go out there and do door-to-door sales paired with the van, the product, and the marketing. Also, if you're new to the channel, my name is Adam Zwingler, and this channel is dedicated to helping you find really good service-related companies, a lot of times in blue-collar work, that you can start, scale, and exit for a much higher amount of money. If you're interested in learning how to do that, then consider liking and subscribing. All right, let's dive into these van side hustles. Okay, so first on the list is storage containers. Our neighbor recently went through an ugly divorce. He ripped everything out of his house, threw it into a dumpster, and then he invited the neighbors to come over and grab whatever they wanted as he was getting ready to leave the house. And so we all went over there, and what was really interesting about us all going through that dumpster and just doing a dumpster dive was that we were all looking for one thing. And it's not the thing that you would think of, which would be like the more valuable things like the lawnmowers and the weed whackers and those different things. We were all in pursuit of big, heavy storage containers. In this really nice upscale neighborhood that we're living in, why do you think we're all looking for that? And the thing is what I concluded is a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of people have one problem in residential neighborhoods. And that is, as the years go on, you start to collect way too many things. And the stuff that you have builds up in the garage, it builds up in the basement. And the thing that you don't keep up with is all the storage containers, the heavy duty storage containers that are needed to store all your stuff. And that's where you can potentially come in and offer a really cool van side hustle where you stack a number of skills, one on top of another, and along with door-to-door sales, you might have neighbors lining up willing to buy storage containers from you. Let's break down how this would potentially work. Okay, so the first thing you need is containers, right? So you would go and find 1 or 2 brands that you really like and pick out a number of different containers in various sizes. Buy those up. Then you would hire an Upwork or Fiverr consultant to help you put together a simple pamphlet that would lay out your packages and your pricing on 10 containers or more. Load those all up in your van and hit the road and go out to these nicer neighborhoods and do door-to-door sales, or hire somebody to do door-to-door sales, right? Do you see how these different skill sets stack on top of each other? Yes, you need to be able to drive the van. Yes, you need the containers. Yes, you need the marketing pamphlet. Yes, you need the door-to-door sales. You stack skills, and before you know it, you have something that can potentially make you $500 to $1,000 a day just going out and doing door-to-door container sales. I can tell you right now that if you came over to where we live and you went door to door, offering various sizes of containers and various pricing package options, you would have the neighbors lining up, willing to pay for additional containers because they need them. So assuming that you can buy these containers for $6 a pop, sell them for about $15 a piece, and you can move about 50 containers a day, let's break down the numbers and see roughly how much money you can make selling containers. Okay, so the cost of 50 containers at $6 a container on average is $300. Let's assume you can resell them at $15 a container. That would mean that if you could sell 50 in a day, that would be $750 in sales. That means a total of $450 of profit. That would be daily profit, $2,700 of weekly profit, over $11,000 of monthly profit, and over $137,000 of annual profit. Now, this would potentially be a little bit more than just a van side hustle, so you would have to dial back how many you'd want to sell every day. But as a van side hustle, where maybe you just do this for a couple hours a day, you might be surprised that you can still pick up $150, $200 a day just doing this part-time for a couple hours. You have to ask yourself, do you want to make $200 as a side hustle for 2 or 3 hours doing something like this? Or do you want to go and work for UPS and make $200 over the course of an 8-hour day, right? So there's a lot more potential to make profit here in a shorter period of time. Some of the things that I think are great final thoughts on this are you can upsell shelving. So maybe you don't carry that around in the van, but you can offer to have garage shelving and basement shelving. A lot of times people are missing a lot of shelving, and you can also offer to rearrange and reorganize garages and basements for people while you're there on the doorstep. What I like most about this side hustle, guys, is that I don't see anybody doing it. You have no competition. We have never, ever had anybody offer to sell us a bundle package of nice storage containers on our doorstep. But I do think it's one of the few things that we would consider buying because we have a lot of extra stuff that needs to be put away. And I think my wife especially would be very interested in buying an extra 10 storage containers if it was offered to us. All right, let's move on to van side hustle number 2. But before we do, consider, guys, coming over to Build Up University. This is our additional resource website, and we offer 2 different things over there. If you decide you want to get started on one of our business ideas, we can build you a 1-page, beautifully laid out website. It's affordable, it's inexpensive. And the other thing on buildupuniversity.com is a 1-hour consulting call where you'll sit down with me or one of the team members. Usually it's me, and I can help guide you and strategically help you either start or scale one of our service-related companies. All right, let's move on to van side hustle number 2. Okay, so next on the list is security systems. And guys, this is another one where you can make a lot more money with a van side hustle than you would if you were driving a van for UPS or Uber Eats or something like that. Yes, you need more skills. Yes, you need door-to-door sales skills, or you need to hire somebody that's willing to go door-to-door for you. But at the end of the day, you can make a lot of money in security systems. My suggestion would be to just have 2 straightforward packages. You have your basic package and you have your advanced security package. With the basic one, you charge $2,500 for the security system. You get a $500 commission for selling it, and there's a $500 labor charge to install it for somebody else that's going to come in and install it after you sell it. The advanced option would just be double that. So you would be selling a $5,000 security system. You would get a $1,000 commission, and the labor cost would be about $1,000 to install it. Okay? 2 simple options. Let's assume that you can potentially sell 2 of those in a day. You have the security systems in your van, and basically you're just combining that with door-to-door sales. Let's see what the profit amount breaks down to starting a van side hustle like this. Okay, so quick profit breakdown. Let's assume you can sell 2 of these in a day. That would work out to be on average $1,000 that you would collect daily on your commissions, which works out to $5,000 in commissions weekly, which works out to over $21,000 monthly and over $253,000 in commissions annually. 2 final thoughts with this, guys. You probably want to work with an installer. You just want to sell this. This is a simple sale, and then you want to have somebody else that comes in behind you and they get paid to install the system. And then the other thing that you should consider is that with security systems, you can offer a recurring revenue system here where you basically monitor the security systems and you continue to service them after they're set up. So there is potential for monthly recurring revenue with this. And I think that's another great thing about this potential van side hustle. Let's move on to van side hustle number 3. Okay, so number 3 on the list is a home improvement van side hustle. And guys, yes, this one, just like the others, requires some door-to-door sales. And yes, you do need to get directly in front of the customer. But if you're willing to do those additional skill sets or hire somebody to do that, you can put a massive multiplier on the amount of income you can make. And the reason I really like this one in particular is because once you're in front of the customer, there is so many things you can potentially sell to them that are needed for home improvement on their home. Some of the services you can offer when you're there in front of the customer is cabinet resurfacing, countertops, tub to shower conversions, HVAC, and carpet and flooring options. My suggestion would be equip your van with some of the more basic home improvement things that you can potentially do while you're right there on the spot, and then just outsource the bigger, heavier duty things to subcontractors that you know and trust that can potentially do some of these bigger jobs. Okay, so breaking down the profit here, guys. Let's assume that on average, most sales work out to be about $3,000 per sale. Of that $3,000 sale, $750 of that is your profit. And let's assume that you can make 2 sales like that a day. That would work out to be $1,500 a day, $7,500 a week, almost $32,000 a month, and $380,000 a year. What I like about this business model and this van side hustle is that you're selling a little bit bigger ticket things, Anything that has to do with the house where it's cabinet refacing or countertops or anything like that can very easily be a couple $1,000s or more per sale. All right, so that wraps up van side hustle number 3. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, so let's take a look at roofing and windows as our 4th van side hustle, guys. And what I like about this one, just like the other 3, is you're once again going to pair door-to-door sales with a product or a service. And what I like about roofing and windows in particular is you really only need to sell 1 roof a week. If it's a $30,000 roof and your commission is $5,000, you only need to sell 1 of those a week to work out to have $20,000 a month in commissions, $250,000 roughly in commissions over the course of a year. Throw in some windows along the way, and before you know it, this could actually be a very profitable van side hustle. The profit potential is definitely there. I think a lot of homeowners are starting to get fed up with roof salesmen. So I think it would be a tougher van side hustle to do. That's why I put it 4th on the list. But if you got thick skin and you're willing to get out there, I think there's plenty of money to be made, and you only need to make 1 sale a week, especially if you work for yourself independently and you outsource the roof to subcontractors. You're not working for some other company. Plenty of money to be made here. Let's move on to van side hustle number 5. Okay, so last on the list is mini moving, which is something that you can do with a van as a side hustle. And it's definitely worth mentioning that this one is a lot more about actually doing physical work than just sales. But if you like to help people move and you're willing to help small spaces move, right? People that don't need to hire a full moving truck and spend a whole day moving something, they just need somebody to come in and pack up a 1-bedroom apartment or a dorm room or something of that nature. There are a lot of people that have that need, and that's a market that you can potentially fill with a van side hustle, especially with Facebook Marketplace, some of these other online platforms. There really is an opportunity to capitalize on this part of the market that the big moving companies aren't capitalizing on quite the same way. There's a lot I like about this, guys. You can make a couple $100s over the course of a couple hours with a van. Yes, you're doing more of the work, but at the end of the day, you're filling a need where the bigger moving companies don't want to play in because it's just not profitable for them to go out and move mini spaces. But there's a lot of people that have mini spaces that need to be moved. So I think it's lucrative. I think there's an opportunity there. Take, for example, Kyle Stockford, who is a 29-year-old based out of Massachusetts. He said that he is making, on average, upwards of $9,700 a month doing mini moving for people in his local community. Assuming that you can make roughly $10,000 a month doing mini storage moving, let's go ahead and do a profit breakdown to get an idea of how much money you can potentially make offering this service as a van side hustle. Okay, so daily profit would be $450 if you worked 7 days a week, which I think that this is one of those things where you'd probably have to be available throughout the entire week. $2,500, that's about $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. Honestly, guys, to go out for a couple hours a day, help people lightly move their stuff with your van and potentially make upwards of $10,000 a month, I think this can potentially be a really good van side hustle. I think you should definitely look at this as an option. All right, that wraps this video up. If you liked this video and you want other great business ideas for service companies that you can potentially start, then consider liking and subscribing. On to the next.